In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. And even if I lived to be 1,000, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. We thank God for the Metu Netter, oracles, scriptures, and writings that came thousands of years before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad in the Quran. I greet everyone in words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. That simply means peace unto you. This is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid. Subscribe and share to the channel. I'd like to thank everyone who has been supporting the channel. Just the other day, I hit the 100 subscriber mark. That means I have over 100 subscribers in a little over a month and a half of the inception of this channel called Hour of Power. Salute to all those who've been subscribing and sharing these messages. Couldn't have done it without you. Quickly today, my message is called Have a Real Man in Your Life so a fake man don't destroy your life, part 2. Remember, have a real man in your life so a fake man don't destroy your life. The first one I did was very successful. A lot of sisters and some brothers shared the message. I did it in honor of my sister Bubbles back in York, who almost 2 weeks to the day tragically lost her life. So I dedicated this message to her, and in the spirit of encouraging sisters to have a preferably a father in your life. Remember, father, the root word of father is the word further, someone who can take you further in life, educationally, spiritually, and emotionally. That is the most ideal person to have in your life to protect you from an abusive man. If not a father, a brother, a cousin, an uncle, or a righteous man in the community. And I know some of y'all are probably like, well, my father ain't in my life. I may have not even met my father. Then that's when you go on down the line. A brother, a cousin, an uncle, or a righteous man in the community. I have a spiritual daughter. I'm not going to say her name. She knows who she is. We have a great relationship. We check in with each other all the time. And I think and I hope the more she interacts with me, the more trust I'm building with her, that she knows without a shadow of a doubt that Brother Shareef don't mean her no harm. I'm not trying to sleep with her. I'm not trying to maneuver her in a certain way so I can get in between her legs. So brothers, if you are a spiritual father, do not use black consciousness and black power to try to get your way because you're sick in the mind. If you do that, you're worse than Satan himself, because you're using a beautiful tool, which is black consciousness, to get your lower desires met through this innocent, beautiful sister. Do not do that. Do not do that. If you're going to guide a sister and be her spiritual father, do it for the right reasons. So again, in part 1, that was the main thing, having a real man in your life so a fake man don't destroy your life. It can cost you your life. It can cost you your children's life, and it can damage the community. We have to do more investigation so you don't bring some of these sick brothers into your life that will destroy your life or end your life prematurely. I want to concentrate on 3 areas tonight with part 2. That is unhealthy sexual activity at an early age, premature sex, and a lack of a commitment. That's the way we protect our sisters. Again, unhealthy sexual activity at an early age. Do you know they did a documentary or a study? I think T.D. Jakes did it. And it was called Women That Aren't Loose. And it showed 1 out of 4 black women are sexually abused before the age of 18. 1 out of every 4. This is damaging our sisters and damaging our community and ruining any type of confidence that black women have in black men, and any confidence that may have already been fractured. This just makes it even worse. I have women older than me that I work with and say they'll never trust a black man again. You can just tell by their conversation they do not trust black men. I want you to look at this book. It's a beautiful book and a very informative book. Violence in the Lives of Black Women, Battered Black and Blue, by our good sister Carolyn West, PhD. Look what she says in this book. So I'm gonna just tackle section 1, which is unhealthy sexual activity at an early age. She says, Dr. West, what accounts for high rates of severe childhood sexual abuse? Talking about among black people. She said penetration is more likely to occur if the child is older than the perpetrator, which is most likely the mother's boyfriend. This is what she's found in her study. Penetration is more likely to occur in the child, even if they're older, and the perpetrator is most likely the mother's boyfriend. Black girls are often overrepresented in these categories. On average, black women are 8 years old when they experience their first incidents of sexual abuse. 8 years old. That's what it says. Black women are 8 years old when they experience their first incidents of sexual abuse. Excuse me, I'm about to get it in. We need this, family. It says, due to marital patterns, irregular marital patterns in African American community, a substantial number of black girls will be exposed to stepfathers and their mother's boyfriends. Both of these demographic factors may leave black girls more vulnerable to sexual abuse. So a lot of our sisters aren't paying attention who they're bringing into their life, which causes this early unhealthy experiences of sexual abuse, which is my first topic. Unusual and unhealthy sexual experiences. We have to know who we're bringing into our life. Many brothers are sick. Some of them have been incarcerated. Some of them haven't been incarcerated, but something has happened to them to get them to this point, and they're sick. And many of our sisters aren't paying attention. You can't bring no sick man like that into your life. Do you know what could happen to your girls? Some of your girls have bigger tatas and ass than you got. So with that, even a healthy man got to watch his mind and his thinking. Can you imagine what an unhealthy man is going to do? And even your boys too, but mostly the girls. So you bring him in, no investigation. You don't check his police record. You don't ask him if he's been in any trouble before. You don't do anything. You're just going off his looks, or you're enamored, or you're lonely, and you're bringing this monster into your house, and you got this growing girl in front of you. So he's dancing and romancing you, and you tripping and falling, giggling all over the place, and he's peeping over your shoulder at your budding daughter with them big titties and ass more than you. A sane man has to watch his mind around that. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that even fathers should watch themselves around their daughters and shouldn't be alone with them if it's not necessary. And that's with your own blood daughter. So this book talks about how our girls are left vulnerable by boyfriends and some fathers and uncles and cousins. But these boyfriends coming in the house and we don't even know who they are, we got to check them. So this is section 1. Have a real man in your life, so a fake man don't destroy your life. Part 2, if you have that good man, that good righteous man in your life, even if it's a spiritual man, he will protect you and your children from that. So that's part 1 of this 3-part section. It's not going to be long. Unhealthy early sexual experiences. Now I'm going to segue into part 2, which is premature sex. A lot of our young sisters are having sexual activity at an early age, and a lot of us think it's cute. I don't believe girls that are 11 and 12 and 13 years old should be worrying about no boyfriend. They should be worrying about school and their career or starting a business and developing into a queen before they start worrying about some boyfriend. Why? Because sex is like a drug. It is like a drug, if not more powerful. Anyone that's experienced sexual activity, if God has blessed us with anything else better, he must have kept it for himself, especially coming from a man's point of view. If he's given us something better than the pleasure of sex, he must have kept it for himself. Okay? So it's the same with a woman. But guess what is different with a woman? Y'all have more of an emotional attachment with sexual activity than a man does. A man can run through a dozen women and it don't affect him emotionally. But y'all can have one man and you can be emotionally attached because we're entering into you. You ain't entering into us. I know it's some freaky things going on today, but hopefully you ain't entering into us. But you know what I mean? Under normal circumstances, we are entering into you. So y'all have more of an emotional attachment. But because of the lack of maturity with some of our young sisters, she's 12, 13 years old. Again, I don't understand that, but we know what's going on. She hooks up with little Jimmy. They start having sex because young people get together. After a while, you know what's going to happen. They have sex because of her immaturity and his immaturity. Before you know it, 2-3 months go by. Now she got another boyfriend. And then she hooks up with him, lets him sample the cookies. Then that don't work out. Then she's 15. And then she lets another brother sample the cookies. Before she's 16, 17, 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes unsampled the cookies. Guess what? Guess what? That's a lot of emotional attachment and breakup. Now she's mistaking lust for love. But if she had a real man in her life, he's going to show her what real love is. Preferably through a father who gives you real love spiritually, emotionally, and educationally. But that emotional part, having a real love, because we often talk about black boys not having a father, and we know they need him. But a sister needs her father just as much as these boys do, for that reason alone, so he can show her what a real man is. Too early, premature sexual experiences. So she has all these sexual experiences. So now, let's say her name is Kiki. She's ready to settle down. She done found a man that she connects with more on sex. But guess what? Here's where the psychological factor comes in. A lot of us don't think about. You got all this sexual experience now. 7, 8, 9, 10 dudes, whatever. Okay? It's good to have work experience, but it's not necessarily good to have sexual experience. So you finally find what you think is your knight in shining armor. Guess what? While you're having sex with your new husband, Johnny, you are remembering all the sex you had with all those other dudes. And if Johnny don't measure up to what you got from all them other dudes, you may start looking at him funny, and it may cause a problem or a rift and cause a division with your husband just based off of sex. Yes, psychologically, in your mind, because you have all that sexual experience, you start thinking about all the sex that you had with all your previous buddies. And if Johnny, your present husband now, don't measure up to that, then you get to gossiping with your girlfriend on the phone who don't got no husband. What's going on, girl? Man, Johnny ain't hitting on nothing. I don't know what's going on. This is getting on my nerves. I'll leave that Negro. You need someone that's going to put it down, girl. And Johnny may be a good brother, but you're measuring everything up based off of sex because all that previous experience you had. Now your mind is convoluted on lust and not love, and all this sexual experience dating back to all that premature sexual experiences you had with all these other men. You may say, I don't believe in that, brother Shareef. But think about what I'm saying. So part one is unhealthy sexual experiences. Our girls coming in contact, no fault of their own, with these men because we're not watching. We may not have that father, brother, cousin, uncle, or spiritual brother in the community like Brother Jamal to take us in. So now, not only aren't protecting ourselves because we got a potential molester or pedophile on our hands, now he's zeroing in on the girls, zeroing in on the boys, because our girls are so developed. Some of these girls are. A lot of that has to do with a diet, and that's a whole different topic. But our girls are developed. Now he's zeroing in on destroying her life. Unhealthy sexual experiences. Then I just talked about premature sex. Allowing our girls to be in all these sexual relationships, all these boyfriends at 11, 12, 13, 14. Hold that off as long as you can until she goes to school, figures out what she's going to do with her career. Then she has plenty of time to worry about a man. It ain't the fact that you can get a man, it's what kind of man you get and the timing of it. Part 3, commitment. Commitment. How many of our parents, how many of our sisters are teaching our girls about commitment? Too many of our sisters, my age and older, are giving away all their goodies. And I ain't just talking about sex, all the good things that y'all have to offer. First, your goodies, right? Giving away all your goodies. You're cooking for him, supplying a roof over his head. And some of y'all are even going to work to a 9 to 5 while he sits home and watches Stephen A. Smith on First Take, ESPN, playing the PlayStation, smoking blunts, and just doing whatever he want to do, and you working. And he's sitting home, and you ain't got no commitment from him. If he's getting all the nookie he wants, all the good cooked meals he wants, a roof over his head, clothes on his back, and some of them sitting at home, what's the motivation for him to marry you? Women from other cultures do not put up with this. I'm sorry, sisters, because I've dealt with a lot of different cultures. I'm Muslim, so I am very in tune with what Africans do, Arabs do, Pakistanis do, because Islam is a very broad faith. It's a very broad faith because we have people from all over the world, and I know what their cultural norms are when it comes to their girls. They teach their girls to get a commitment first if they're not directly involved. Remember, have a real man in your life so a fake man don't destroy your life. But we're setting the table, we're setting the atmosphere if we're almost encouraging our girls to get in relationships. Oh, Kiki got his little boyfriend and all that. Just shut the hell up. What in the hell is wrong with you? And you're not teaching her to get a commitment from this man. He can just get what he wants when he wants and don't make no commitment to her. And this ain't personal to anyone. This is just a general broad statement through my observation and yours too. You know it's true. You know this is true. A third, 66%, if not more, of black families are raised by single black women. Why? Black women are the last to get married and the last to consider to be married. Yes. Not because you aren't worthy, it's because of the mindset. Shoot for the moon so you can be among the stars. But we got to teach that to these girls. We got to teach it to them. Get a commitment first. Have you ever been to Cage Jewelers and their prized possession is that diamond, that zirconia watch or whatever? Let's just say a diamond ring. They have it locked away in a nice glass case. You just can't come in there, listen to the analogy, feel all over the ring, right? Touch all over it. Take it home for a couple months and you may or may not buy it. Hell no. They say you need to make a commitment today before you take this thing home. That's an inanimate object. Our sisters are far more valuable than some daggone diamond ring. Y'all are the queens of the earth, the baddest thing walking the earth. Y'all deserve a commitment, but it has to be taught. It's women in our 30s and 40s that don't understand this concept. They don't even know how to ask for a commitment. They don't know how to question a man. He come up to you, rolling up on you with all this game. Stop right there. I got a couple questions for you. Number one, what is your commitment? What is your intentions with me? He starts stuttering, and this should be in the presence of your father. Your real father, brother, uncle, cousin, or a concerned brother in the community. What's your intentions with me? He starts stuttering all over the place. You know you got a clown on your hands. Okay? Have you ever been in trouble with the law? Can I check your police report? What's your credit score? Do you have a job? How are you going to take care of me? Do you get angry? What's your anger management skills? What's your conflict resolution skills? Have you ever hit a woman? What's your relationship with your mother? Those are the type of questions you should be asking. Some of y'all put more time in buying a pair of shoes or a car than you do in bringing a man into your life that can destroy your life, destroy your children's life, or even cost you your life. We just saw it. I just experienced it. They can destroy your life, or it can cost you your life by not following these steps. Number one, unhealthy sexual experiences by a friend of the family, a boyfriend, or a stepfather. You got to know who you're bringing into your life. Premature sex. Girls having relationships at 11, 12, 13, 14. They get all that sexual experience, and then when they are finally ready to settle down, they're thinking about all the sex they had with Jerome and the bros. And then poor Johnny got to try to live up to all that. And then a lack of commitment, not teaching our girls how to ask for a commitment before giving away all their goodies, their sexual goodies. You cooking, cleaning, that's husband material. Okay? Now, and remember this book, Violence in the Lives of Black Women, talks about the sexual abuse of our sisters. Finishing up, I want to recap what I talked about last time, the 12 warning signs of detecting an abusive man. Then I'll be done. Sign number 1, him being real jealous and possessive, saying things like, I can't live without you. I kill myself if you left me. When I see you talking to your friends or another man, it upsets me, and I want to spend all my time with you. Warning sign number 1. Remember, these are the 12 signs to detect of an abusive man. Number 2, being real nice and sweet, then becoming irrationally upset and angry, sometimes violent. Often these outbursts are followed by apologies, flowers, and promises. That's sign number 2. Sign number 3, throwing things around, breaking things that are important to you or things that you need. That's 3. Sign number 4, threatening to become violent. For example, saying, if you don't stop, I'll make you stop. If you don't come home now, you will never go out again. You better be careful when you get home. At sign number 4, remember, this is the hour of power with Shareef Hamid, dropping it to save your life and your children's life. 12 signs to detect an abusive man. Sign number 5, insulting or humiliating you, particularly in public or in social situations. Number 6, telling you he has weapons or she has weapons and they're willing to use them. Remember, this could be for the brothers too, protecting themselves from a mentally ill sister. Number 7, threatening or intimidating your children, your parents, your friends, especially if they think you told them what's going on. Number 8, keeping you from seeing your family and friends, isolation. Number 9, not giving you enough money, drinking or gambling away the money that you need to keep the household going, and taking all of your money. Number 10, telling you all the problems around here are your problem. Telling you all the problems around here are your problem. Listen to these last 2. Number 11, locking you in or out of house, a room, or a car, preventing you from leaving, and taking your car keys or your purse. Number 12, and the most telling one, number 12, remember this is, have a real man in your life so a fake man don't destroy your life or you lose your life. Number 12, hitting, punching, pinching, slapping, grabbing, tying you up, pushing you, kicking you, forcing sex, cutting you, biting, scratching, or using any object to hurt you. I'm going to repeat number 12. Hitting, punching, pinching, slapping, grabbing, tying you up, pushing you, kicking you, forcing sex, cutting you, biting you, scratching you, using any object to hurt you. FYI, if any of these things is happening to you, you have a problem. If just a few of these things on the list are taking place, even if it's just once in a while, you have a serious problem. And for the love of God, if number 12, which I just mentioned, is happening, you should get help, get your children, and like the movie says, get out. Get out. That's the 12 warning signs of an abusive man. Finishing out, I think I have a phone number to give you if you or your children are being abused. Yes, This is called the National Council of Child Abuse and Family Violence. The number is 1-800-222-2000. 1-800-222-2000. One more phone number. This is the National Clearinghouse. This is another number. No, that's the same number that I just gave you. So that's the number for that. So that first number was for child abuse and family violence. The one for family violence is in DC, 202-429-6695. So that's 202-429-6695. That's for family violence. And then the 1-800 number I gave you, 1-800-222-2000, is for child abuse. So again, this is Hour of Power with Shareef Hamid. Subscribe and share the channel. Subscribe and share the channel. Again, earlier this week, we just hit the 100 subscriber mark. Salute to you brothers and sisters who have supported the channel. Keep doing what you're doing so we can keep this channel going, and share it with like minds and to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. Remember, this isn't a religious channel. It has a spirituality flavor to it, but it's not a religious channel. It's a social change and a social awareness channel to address the issues that are affecting Black people, to lift our mind, bodies, and soul. So this is Our Power with Shareef Hamid, and this is part 2. Have a real man in your life, so a fake man don't destroy your life. So a fake man don't destroy your life. And so a fake man don't destroy your children's life. And so a fake man don't affect and negatively affect our community. I leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim family. Praise the Lord to our Christian family. Hotep to our Black conscious family. Shalom to our Hebrew Israelite family. And what's good to you, to our people in the streets. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. This goes out to my beautiful sister, Bubbles. We miss you. I promise you, sis, as we are speaking, we are working, and we will get justice for you. We're working on it as you speak, as I speak. We are getting justice for you. Your spirit will never die. Your physical body may not be here, but your spirit will live on if it's the last thing that I do. We are getting justice for you as I speak. I leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum.